Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda, India's most loved primetime show at 10, week after week. I'm Padmaja Joshi. 10 days after 29-year-old engineering graduate Jamesha Mubin died in a terror attack in Coimbatore, Times Now has in its possession notes and scribblings that were done by this radicalized young man inside his house. Scribblings that spoke of Jihad as a duty. Notes that spoke of Muslims versus Kafirs, and a warning that anyone who dares to touch the house of Allah will be destroyed. So let's take you one by one through the different material that was found from Mubin's house. First is a slate with the logo of ISIS on it. This perhaps should be the most worrying part, that an educated youth is subscribing not just to the ISIS ideology, but various reports even suggest that he was reading and downloading ISIS propaganda online and was getting self-radicalized. But the sad part is that this ISIS logo is not the most worrying part of the recoveries, because right below it was scribbled, "Whoever lays hands on Allah's house will be destroyed." Further, along with this slate, a bunch of handwritten notes were also found. Among them is a complex Venn diagram of sorts, a diagram that shows how humans are classified into two kinds of people: Muslims and Kafirs. And then it talks of Islam, Hadith and heaven when speaking of Muslims alone. And finally is another note that speaks of children, youth and the elderly, and then mandates jihad as a duty of those who are young and able-bodied, because in youth they are strong as compared to the elderly. The recovery of how these notes talk of jihad, of how it is being mandated that anyone who touches the house of Allah will be finished, has set off another round of allegations between the DMK and the BJP, both accusing the other of politicizing the issue. The BJP is questioning how is it that a man like Mubin is staying in their midst and is radicalizing, collaborating with others, and the state never got to know. Worse, the allegation is that the government actively shielded and turned a blind eye to the plot even as it unfolded before their eyes.
Plan looks much more deeper and much more evolved. It is not some youth who randomly decided on fine day he did something. It looks more radicalized, is brainwashed. Maybe this plan was months in operation. Somehow I think police is also becoming more lethargic day by day, not being very, taking things very seriously. Trying to brush things under the carpet, trying not to bring a bad name to the state. In fact, the police in Tamil Nadu is still using the term called cylinder blast. Somehow they believe using a word called terror will bring Tamil Nadu's image down, because it's a selective, distorted information. The best way to radicalize somebody is you take an information, spin it out of context, give some new narrative to it, and keep repeating it again and again so that somebody tends to believe. That is what happening in this case also. So this false lie was fed to a select group, and the Quran was selectively quoted, Hadith selectively quoted. They are made to believe. That is the level of deep radicalization, because fake stories get spun around. It gets repeated again and again. Some of the politicians, they mouth it again and again for vote politics. So finally what happens? The youth gets radicalized.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Rakesh Sinha, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, Kovai Santhyam, spokesperson of the AIA-DMK, Sarvanan, spokesperson of the DMK, G. Balachandran, retired IAS officer and a political analyst. My first question is to you, Mr. Sinha, because the standard response of the DMK government and the police has been that when the investigation is already ongoing, why is the BJP worried about recoveries? Sure, these recoveries have happened, but so is the investigation on.
The counter question is that why DMK is trying to hide the things which have been recovered. It's not a question of something like dacoity or some normal law and order problem. The symptom which has been reflected from such incidents and such individuals is a very, very fearful, because it is going to damage the civil society not in India, but it is going to revive the radicalism, and India would be the latest latest ground for the revival of the radicalism if we will not collectively stop that. I am giving two important examples regarding that. Firstly, that when the things have been recovered and the DMK is trying to hide this means not only DMK, such political groups and ideologies which have been constantly and consistently protecting, patronizing and defending such incidents. That's why the rest of the Muslim community are forced to defend that. I don't consider that every Muslim is supporting that. But when the mainstream political parties, and DMK is a ruling party in Tamil Nadu. Second important thing is that you see the difference between the before partition Islamic communalism and after post-partition Islamic communalism. Before the partition, the fulcrum of the Islamic communalism was the North Indian soil. Post-partition, the fulcrum has shifted to South India. I don't know that this is the cycle of the history. Because you see in Kerala, the Popular Democratic Front, that is the soft version which has been now banned, soft version of ISIS. It has chopped off the hand of a teacher, T.J. Joseph, in 2010.
Okay.
Now you see the incident here. The most educated boy is referring things and contextualizing the religious texts in terms of radical actions. And that radical action is not confined to one individual or one society, it is affecting the entire global society.
Okay, Professor Sinha, let's take this one by one. Mr. Saravanan, the opening comment is that if you try and cover up a one Mubin, tomorrow this wound will become a festering sore.
Padmaja, that is rubbish. The allegations made by the BJP and the spokesperson here is rubbish without knowing what has happened on ground. This allegations of a cover-up is nothing but cheap politics over an incident which was put out, which was by alert Tamil Nadu police. It was averted. And if you look at the responsibility, this same guy who died was under the radar of NIA in 2019. And after that, what did the NIA do? Did it not follow up? Should it not be following it up? So the responsibility is also with the union government. It is not that that's the Tamil Nadu government or the Tamil Nadu police that they have to be, if this has come to this level, it is not them who alone have to be.
But sir,
questioned.
only on one thing, before Professor Sinha responds to you, just one point.
BJP
You said the Tamil Nadu police averted it. Actually, the Tamil Nadu police did not. The car blew up. Averting would be if Mubin would have been arrested and the car would not have exploded. But the car exploded.
How are you saying this? How are you saying this?
I'm saying it because the car exploded, sir. You did not avert an explosion. It's just that the man saw a police picket, he panicked and the explosion took place.
That's what, Padmaja, you don't know the fallout of the investigation. A car was exploded and that guy who was there died. He alone died.
He died, but you didn't avert the explosion.
So what made that's what,
to put it very crudely, we got lucky. We got lucky that the man saw a picket and he panicked.
It's not lucky. It's not lucky. It is about the way the Tamil Nadu police have been mounting a vigil there. They have interrogated. They wanted to stop that man. That is why this happened.
Sir, this man managed to buy over 50 kgs of explosives, ball bearings, put it all together in his house, load it onto his car, drive to a place where he was on his way to a crowded marketplace, sit in his house and write things like, there are Muslims and then there are Kafirs, and anyone who touches the house of Allah is going to be destroyed. And you are saying that this is a victory of your intelligence?
What is the union government doing? See, when it is a terror suspects, when it is doing, that's what I told you, he was under the NIA radar. In 2019, he was having transnational connections. Who can monitor that better? The state police or the union government's police, which has got all the wherewithal, it has got all the facilities.
So the union government monitors, but when the actual movement of explosives and terror elements is happening, do you want the NIA to come in?
Government which has to take responsibility, not the Tamil Nadu government alone.
Okay, if a man like this is sitting there, Rakesh Sinha, it's your problem.
You know, the answer of the DMK spokesperson is full of contradictions. On the one hand, he started his remark that the investigation is going on. Why you are in hurry? In a way, he was trying to.
The investigation is now carried out by NIA, sir.
That
For your kind
investigation
information, the investigation is now carried out
Later
by NIA.
on, let me complete, gentlemen. Let me complete. I am coming to your point of contradictions. I am coming to your contradiction. Later on, he says that. He was the kind of crime and the type of terrorist he was. It was the responsibility of NIA. He is right. He accepts that he was a culprit and he was pioneering the jihad in Tamil Nadu. And it was for the God's sake, the thousands and hundreds of the people could be saved due to the grace of the God. And the gentleman is saying that investigation is going on. It is a complete failure on the part of DMK government. Complete failure. And this failure is unforgivable.
Failure of the
union
government.
On the one hand, you are policing intelligence is failing. On the other hand, you are defending. What are you doing to fight the radicalism? My straight question to DMK spokesperson is, what is the
radar of NIA?
Just have a question.
What did the NIA do from
Don't do that.
Please, no, don't. Please answer my question.
Kindly don't
answer my question. You are making allegations
my
against the
simple
DMK.
question, my
I am
straight and
making
simple
allegations
question
against
to
the
you
union
that
government.
what
From
is the
2019,
action
your
plan of
ally
the
ADMK
DMK
was
government
here.
to fight
He was
against
under the
Islamic
NIA radar from
radicalism in Tamil Nadu?
2019.
Do you accept that there is a radical
doing?
element
What was the
in
Central
Tamil
Intelligence
Nadu?
Bureau doing?
Do you accept that there are forces in
Do you have
Tamil
answers
Nadu
for that?
who
Mr. Saravanan, Mr. Sinha is coming back to you with a question. Do you accept that radicalism is growing in Tamil Nadu? Do you accept that radicalism is growing?
No. See, that's what, no way, Padmaja, everything. We are monitoring everything. If this incident, when we are speaking about this incident,
no,
the blame lies on the union government.
That gentleman, the gentleman is trying to prove that the person who was a terrorist who died was a Mahatma Gandhi's follower.
From 2019 is NIA radar, and the DMK government.
Do you want to say that gentleman, that terrorist was a Mahatma Gandhi's follower? He was a gentleman, not a terrorist.
The DMK, I am saying it is the responsibility of the union government when we are speaking about
transnational connections. It's not a question of BJP and DMK. It's a question of internal security. It's a question of secularism of the country.
Internal security is under the control of the Ministry of Home Affairs. What is
how to safeguard our civilization? This is not an attack on the constitution only.
Under the UAPA.
Okay, Mr. Saravanan, before I bring in Kovai Santhyam, who's been watching very patiently, I want to ask you just one question. The movement of materials and terrorists will be monitored by the NIA, but the radicalization will be checked at a local level. Do you accept that there is increasing radicalization among youth like Mubin? How can a man who's an engineering graduate in the year 2022 sit there and say that it is the duty of young men to do jihad? Is this a sign of radicalization in Tamil Nadu? Mr. Saravanan,
Padmaja, I want to make.
Is this a sign of growing radicalization?
This governance style of MK Stalin.
Okay, go on. Kovai Santhyam.
Yeah, with this governance style and with this attitude, DMK is all set to give Tamil Nadu a unique credit. Tamil Nadu is all set to become the Kashmir of South India. And all the while, till now, the Chief Minister has not accepted to the reality, has not woken up to the reality, nor given out a statement.
You did not even know how to manage the civic issues.
Don't give lectures. Saravanan, I respected when you spoke. I kept quiet.
No, that's what.
I know you are tense, Mr. Saravanan. I know you get tense, you get carried away, and you scream out of your lungs to cover up your inefficiencies. I kept quiet when you spoke. Give me my time. Give my time. Saravanan, give my time. I know you cannot face facts. I know you are inefficient leader. You are inefficient governance cannot take facts.
You are keeping quiet. You are inefficient.
You are inefficient leader. You are inefficient governance. Will not accept the reality. Will not accept the fact. There were no such incident in our rule.
In 2019.
No, there were no such incidents in our rule. The 1998 serial bomb blast in Coimbatore was under your rule. Now, compromising national security is in your rule.
BJP was in alliance with the ADMK. Don't forget
Actually,
that.
let me tell you this. Since we are talking about
But
politics,
there
and
were
I
no
really think
incidents.
you should let Mr. Kovai
There were no
Santhyam speak for a
incidents.
second before interrupting. Since you spoke of politics and you spoke of
Violent
2019, Mr. Sarvan, hold on a second. Do you know that in July 2019, when the NIA, today you're saying, where is NIA, where is NIA, why didn't NIA monitor, failure of NIA. In July 2019, when the NIA carried out raids in Tamil Nadu, here is what Mr. M.K. Stalin said. I express deep concern over the NIA's anti-terror raids because the center is misusing the agency for political gains. Here is what he went on to say. He said, no religion and no political party supports terrorism, but NIA is being used for the BJP's gains and to target the Muslim community, particularly in Tamil Nadu. The NIA was doing its job. You said, oh, you are targeting the Muslim community. Result? Mubin. Mr. Sarvanan.
See, that's what I'm saying, Padmaja. Did the NIA do its job properly? That is the question.
Padmaja?
That
Sir,
was
when the
concern
NIA is
raised
trying
by
to do
our
its
leader
job,
then.
you are saying they are coming after
No, it's not
Muslims.
trying. We were in the opposition. What can we do?
But you still called it a witch hunt, sir.
If the
At
NIA,
that time, you were like,
as per
NIA,
what
go
can-
back. Now you are like, where is
in
NIA?
2019,
How is this going to work, sir?
In 2019, NIA conducted raids. We were giving cautions over that. If the NIA has done
Why
the
were
job
you
properly,
cautioning
then
the NIA,
we
which is
wouldn't be
doing
here.
exactly what
We
you
wouldn't be
wanted
here
them to
now.
do?
Why the
They will
question
never
Today you
was
want the
accept this.
NIA to go out and
They
carry
will
out
always
raids,
be there.
and you're asking why didn't the NIA raid? That time you were saying, why is the NIA raiding?
Never
Muslims
accept.
are being
Not raid,
demonized.
not-
I am
this leader will
asking,
accept.
did this not start in 2019 is the question. That is the question.
Kovai
Please let them
Santhyam.
answer.
All right, so you bred the terrorism, Kovai Santhyam, when you were in government.
Yeah. There were no such incidents in our role. 1998 serial bomb blast in Coimbatore happened in DMK regime, and now it's again DMK regime. It is a known fact that whenever DMK is in power in Tamil Nadu, law and order will be compromised. And on this occasion, the national security is getting compromised. Neither Saravanan nor anybody from DMK nor their leader will admit to the fact of their misgovernance, of their incompetence. They will only try to put the blame on others. They will only point the finger towards others. It's a colossal failure, total failure of intelligence. This is yet another incident. And till date, the CM Stalin has not come out in open and said, yes, I admit to the fact this incident relates to terrorism. He has not said out. He merely sent out a statement saying that he is transferring the case to NIA because the case involves cross-border investigation, and he will not compromise on law and order.
But Mr. Saravanan will
He
have no
never agreed
difficulty
to
in
the
doing
fact
that.
that, yes,
Are you
this is a terror
at
attempt.
least
This is a
accepting?
terrorist-
Surely you
terror
will
attempt.
accept that Mubin was a terrorist, right?
See, that's what the evidence, everything. I'm saying everything points out to
They will
that.
not.
What is the problem? What's
will
wrong?
not.
See, that is what I'm saying. You call him a terrorist, yes, but
Their leader
who
will
is
not.
who has control? Who has control over this terrorism? It's not a state subject. That's what I'm saying. It is the responsibility of the union
But sir,
government.
law and order
What is the
still
union
remains a state
government doing?
subject. And on that note, let me
What is
also
the
bring in
union
Mr. G.
government doing?
Balachandran. Okay, Professor Sinha wants to respond. Law and order is
and
not a
order
state
is a
subject, and we
state
keep coming back to that. Even if you
Intelligence
thought
is
that
with
this
the
was
state
happening,
government.
even if you thought this was happening,
What is the
you
union
should
government
have
aware of intelligence
you should have
bureau?
cracked down double time.
Again,
Rakesh
Intelligence
Sinha.
Bureau, Central Intelligence Bureau.
As far
Are you aware of it? Are you even aware of it?
As for my information, the Central Intelligence Agencies have informed the Tamil Nadu
Do
government.
you have something called a
that
state
certain
intelligence,
incidents are
Mr.
going to
Saravanan?
be-
Are you aware of it? There is
the
a wing
government
such.
had
Do you
ignored
have- do you
all
have-
such
do you have that kind of
suggestions,
intelligence? We had a chief minister
suggested information.
saw
The
30
basic
One at a
question,
time,
the
gentlemen.
basic-
One at a time.
the
One at a
basic
time, please.
framework out of
Professor
all
Sinha,
these
then Kovai
incidents-
Santhyam, then Mr. Saravanan. Yes,
Just
Professor Sinha.
give me 10.
Yes,
give
10
me 10
seconds, go
seconds.
on.
Just give me. Give me just 10 seconds. I have just one sentence. 10 seconds. Basic framework out of all these incidents is that whether the Tamil Nadu government considers that the radical elements have made their space in the state, so they have to be eliminated. If they find that this is the sole responsibility of the central government, not the simple law and order problem, they can always consult the central government. Is always ready. Internal security, you see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji since 2014 ensured the nation there would be no incidents like what happened in Mumbai, what happened in the Varanasi temple. We are very much safeguarding our own constitutional democracy and civil society. But when Tamil Nadu government, what happens, Padmaja, when all these sleeping cells become when the pseudo-seculars come into the government. That's why before DMK, there was no such incident.
Okay, interesting point that you're making. It's your ideology that is emboldening. That is Professor Sinha's charge, Mr. Saravanan. It is your ideology and your being passive that is emboldening these people.
Padmaja, that is a political allegation. They don't know. This is what the BJP will do, trying to, communalize everything. That is what the BJP is famous for. I am saying it is, no, I did not say that this was the sole responsibility. See, when we are speaking about this charge, I am saying the responsibility also lies with the union government. I am asking,
sir, is there any responsibility of the state government? Fine, the union government has failed according to you. Is there any responsibility of the state government?
Listen to me. Have you asked the same questions to the union government?
I am saying, sir, your charges that they have failed, I am saying, okay, fine, they have. But is there any responsibility? I am not even going to quote to you the fact, sir, that on the 19th of July, hold on a second, sir. Hold on a second. Is it true or not? Hold on a second, sir. Is it true or not on the 19th of July, when Mubin was sitting there scribbling on his notepad and writing that all youth must perform jihad, a note came from the NIA. What did the note say? It says that there are suspects in Tamil Nadu who should be put under watch by the state police. They will carry out a lone wolf attack. They may carry out a lone wolf attack on police stations, crowded markets and temples. And among the people in that list was Mr. Mubin. Was he put under watch after July 2022 when that note came from the center, which according to you was sleeping? They sent you a note. Did you watch him?
Yeah, Padmaja. That's what I told you at the beginning of the debate. It is the alertness of the Tamil Nadu police which averted the crisis.
Okay.
We have 24/7 surveillance there. We have...
Sir, you do not avert a crisis if a car explodes. The crisis is averted when you stop the car, Mr. Balachandran, while it is parked and while it is being loaded with nuts and bolts and cylinders and explosives, and you say, come here, Mubin, I will see you in jail. That is how you avert a crisis. When a car blows up, you haven't averted. You have allowed it to happen, despite a note from July, Mr. Balachandran.
Padmaja.
Thank you. Now, I hope that I will not be interrupted when I am talking. The most important point here, which we have to bear in mind, we talk about nuts, bolts, etc. in the car which this youth was driving. Now, that particular day, from it appears to me, was not the day when he was planning the mass attack. For the simple reason, there was no detonator in that car. And without detonator, you cannot explode a bomb. We should bear it in mind. And nobody has come out with saying that there was a detonator, NIA or state police for that matter, number one. Number two, in a matter of investigation of a terrorist act, it's a national disaster that has to be averted. We should not allow one upmanship between two political parties.
Sure,
what
sir.
Unfortunately,
but
the BJP
surely as a former bureaucrat yourself, you would know that the center will provide intelligence, but the last mile policing will be done by the state. The actual apprehending of the culprit will be done by the state.
Let me tell you something. Let me complete it. I told you that I told you that I should be allowed to complete in 2019 when NIA interrogated this person and let him loose.
But sir, I am telling you about a July 2022 note. July 2022, NIA came back and
let me finish.
We are watching this man. He is radicalized. Keep him under surveillance. If you are not allowing
me to finish, there is no point of me talking. Listen, will you allow me to complete?
But sir, let's talk about the present of July 2022.
I do not believe so. I do not believe. If you don't allow me to complete, I cannot talk. I think you should give me my time. Others have been talking for minutes and minutes.
Go on.
Keeping quiet.
Let's talk about July 2022.
No, when they blame the NIA, I don't blame the NIA because when they blame the NIA, I don't blame the NIA. or for that matter state police, because one of the typical steps an intelligence agency does is, knowing a person that he is connected with the terrorism, they let him loose to find out what are his other contacts. I am afraid I cannot talk about each and every step which the investigative agencies are resorting to find out the entire network. Now, on that day, I believe what happened was the terrorist failure. It was an accident which the terrorists did not anticipate, because morning at 4 a.m. nobody goes and explodes himself. A terrorist, a suicide bomber will go to a crowded place at a time when there will be a crowd. Now, it did not take place at that point of time. So I believe that it was an accident.
Okay.
Now, after the accident, what happened?
It was an accident. He was just carrying the nuts and bolts and cylinders.
The entire panic to the
perhaps
public?
For some other reason. And it was an accident.
Yes.
Mistakes happen.
No, I am not saying for some other reason. I am saying that he might have been carrying it to go to another place. But without detonator, a bomb cannot explode.
But sir, that is the whole point. That he was on his way to carry out a terror attack. A man who was supposed to be under surveillance since July 2022 was going unsurveilled to carry out an attack. And that's a failure. Now, whether he hit a speed breaker, or he started speeding, or he was smoking a cigarette, one no.
Now, on that particular day, listen, on that particular day, it appears he was not planning a terror attack. He was planning for some other day.
So are you saying that some other day, when he would have actually been planning the terror attack, then the Tamil Nadu police would have swooped in? So Tamil Nadu police was waiting for the actual day to swoop in.
Pardon?
So Tamil Nadu police was waiting for the appointed day.
Neither Tamil Nadu police nor NIA, neither Tamil Nadu police nor NIA are waiting for an accident or for an incident to take place.
Then where was the Tamil Nadu police when Mubin is running around with cylinders in his car?
Tamil Nadu police were not watching him.
Okay. Kovai Santhyam, it's a bit of an overstatement to say that this was an attack because there was no detonator, says Mr. Balachandran.
That is not a terror attack. I think we should be very clear. We should talk on the point, on the basis of science, okay? Without detonation, there is no bomb explosion.
Sir, can I have my time?
Do we agree?
Okay, without detonation, there is no bomb explosion. Strangely though,
sir, your point
was an explosion.
Point is taken.
Go on.
Yeah. Point is taken. Padmaja, DGP was present at the site for 3 days. All the 3 days, what he was trying to send out a message is it's just an accident, a cylinder blast. While there were material evidences which led to suspicion on terrorism and terrorist attack, they denied it. Even today, they are trying to brush it under the carpet. The failure of intelligence is evident. But having said that, compromise on national security, you cannot do a blame game, saying that they would have done the job, I did my job. This is not something you take the credit saying that I have done my part, they have not done their part. This is national security. And common man's life is at stake. And a state which is known for peace, when such evidences emerge out for radicalization, you have evidences of caliphate, it is indeed sending distress signals. And the leader has to, his actions only will resonate, will instill confidence in the minds of the people. But Mr. Stalin, rather than trying to take actions which will restore confidence in the minds of the people, is in a state of hibernation with respect to this. And the spokesman comes out to open and say that no, it is not our job, it's a job of NIA. You can't play around with the lives of common men and put their lives at stake.
Okay, a strong political statement and a statement of intent needs to be given on top of everything that is now being done by the NIA, because what has been thrown up from the house and the mind of this young man should be worrying not just for the state of Tamil Nadu. For long, Kerala has had a problem with radical elements, people going out to fight in Syria and Afghanistan. Tamil Nadu does not need that kind of ecosystem to be allowed to develop within its borders. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for having joined me.